Okay. So yeah. So uh, list and tuple. So what is a list? Okay. The list is collection. Okay, that means it can store multiple values. It can store multiple integer, float, string, boolean, complex values. Okay, and mummy to lage. And it can so let's say when I create a variable, okay, so var1, okay, and I say equal to, and I put a square bracket. Okay, square bracket is what it makes it a list. Okay, and now if I want to see the type, I can say print, okay, type of var1. Okay, and let's simply run it. Okay, so you see it is class int. Okay, it has created a type int. Now how do you store value? So you have to remember, yesterday we spoke about indexing, or day before yesterday, we discussed about indexing. In indexing also we use square bracket. So square bracket, this is the second application of square bracket, right? In first application we have seen how to use square bracket for, we saw how to use square bracket for indexing, right? So when you say var1 square bracket of 0, it will get you the 0th index, right? So for indexing we use square bracket. Okay, and also to declare a list we use square bracket. Okay, so for both purpose we use square bracket. Okay, and the way you write, of course, Python will be able to figure out whether you are trying to access index, or you're trying to declare and use a square bracket, right? So okay, so this is how you declare, and inside this I can add multiple values like 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, etc. Right? Now when I say 1 2 3 4, I am adding 4 values to this list. Okay, and when I print it, okay, see, integer would store only one, right? Only one value. Okay, whether it's 500 or 1 or minus 800 doesn't matter, but you can store only one. But in list it can store multiple values. So when I say print var1, and when you run it, you see it is 1 2 3 4. Okay, um I want to access just one value from this list. Then how will I do it? Any guesses?
Uh, Only one axis, one variable, right?
I want to access. I want to get only one
Uh,
from it. Okay, I don't want all. See, if I say
yeah. For
var
that,
one, yeah,
where of a square bracket of index number we can put.
correct. Okay, so as I said, right, index is always okay. We will use square bracket only for indexing. So I can say square bracket of 0. When I say 0, you will get only the first value. Now, data type of
Only.
whole thing is list,
Yeah.
right? What is the data type of 0?
Yeah.
What is the data type of variable
It's
0?
integer.
It is
Data
integer,
type is
exactly. Yes. So when I say var1 of 0, okay, it will be shown as integer. Okay. Not only this, you can store,
yeah.
different data types. Okay. It doesn't, you don't have to store same type. I can make it 2, 3.0, and make this as, say true. Okay. So all these are fine. Okay, but now the data type of the first variable, okay, 0 is string. Okay, the data type of all together. So this is team. Okay, as a team, okay, we say that, right? So as a team, you lose your
I can
identity,
take
and
integer, float, and everything, strings, everything in a.
this is what I did, right?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm saying this is what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did, isn't it? No, what
Yeah.
was
That's what.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so yeah. So thing is, when you
No, can
put
I
this.
use a different data types here?
That's what I'm saying. This is what I have done, right? I have used different data types only, no? String, integer, float, boolean.
Uh,
isn't it?
Hmm.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
get your question.
Yes, sir.
You wanted to ask, can we use different data types? I said yes, right? Because I have used it in the example that you see the screen. I have used different
Okay,
data
okay.
type, isn't it? Yeah. So think,
Yeah, yeah.
see, individually they are string, they are boolean, they are integer, they are float. But when you put them together as a team, right, and that's the property of a team, right? When you put people
Yeah.
together in a team, then people lose their own identity, right? And they get the identity of the team, right? So this is what when you put them together, they are no longer integer float. They are now together. They are list. Yes, individually they still retain their identity. Individual, it is individually. It's you only, right? Individually you won't change. So that's why if you are accessing individual member, they have their own identity, which is string in this case, of course 0. Okay, if I make it say 3, it will be boolean, right? So individually they have their own identity, but together they are called list. Not only this, you can even have a list inside a list. 2, 4, 6 maybe. Okay. So list can also have a list inside it. Now if I say var 1 of 4, okay, it is list, right? Because var 1 of 4, this is 4, this is the list. I want to access say 2. So first I have to say var 1 of 4 to get 4, and then I'll put one more square bracket here, say 0. So imagine this whole thing as one list, right? And then of 0. Now you will get the type of this 2, which is 4 of 0. Okay. So whatever indexing that we discussed in string, same thing, exact same thing holds true in this case also. Okay. In this case too,
Okay.
okay, in list also is the same indexing. Okay, it starts with 0, it goes up to n minus 1. You can do a
Sir,
minus
one
1.
question, sir.
Yes.
Actually, we are doing the print type only. So can we print the only the number 4 here?
Which number?
List inside the list 246 is here, right?
Yeah.
Index number
Yeah.
4.
Right. So see, the var 4 of 0 is giving 2, right? That's why type is giving integer. So if you remove type, it will print 4,
Okay.
isn't it? Yeah. So for example, here if I go and say print var of -1, you get the last index, which is 2 for this. And here I go and say -2. This is what you asked. So you get -1, -2, which is 4. Right? So every concept that we discuss in string holds true here about indexing. Okay, you can index from left to right, right to left, left to right. It is from 0 to n minus 1. From right to left, it is -1 to minus n. Things like that. Okay.
Yeah.
This is how you actually run and do the indexing. So this is about indexing. So one thing that we discussed there in string is that string is immutable. Okay, that means you can't change the value of a string, but lists are mutable.
Change.
Lists are mutable. That means you can change. So here, okay, um, here let's say what I'll do is here I'm going to say var of 2 equal to 6. Okay, or maybe we will make it 8. Okay, now when I run it, it doesn't throw any error. And if you want to print,
Print var.
okay, so you see it is no, I should know the type, right? So see, the value got changed to 8 here. So list you can change the value.
Yeah.
But say here in var 1, okay, var1 of 0. Okay. Now var1 of 0, if I make it 9, it is going to work or not? Work
Where
or
one
will
of
throw error?
0 29, yeah. Yes.
But we discussed lists are immutable, right?
Yeah.
Then will it work or not?
Joins to 9. Yes, sir, it will work. It will change that value.
Why? But we did discuss that lists are immutable, isn't it?
Sir, your voice is very low, sir. Can you speak?
Okay. So I'm saying we discussed that lists are immutable, right?
Yes, same.
Then how can you do that?
No, lists are mutable, right?
Strings are immutable, I'm saying, right?
Strings we can't change.
Right. So var of 0 is a string only, isn't it?
Okay.
It will work, okay? The
No,
reason
in that one, we're changing the value in the list to inside the list only, right?
correct. We are changing the complete value of the list. Now I cannot say, so see here, let's say here, if we had hello, okay? And
Mhm.
if we print var1, okay, let me comment this first. So when I say var1 of, okay, and I put 0 and I put 1, right? So in this, I'm accessing the string, and of that string, I want to access the first value, isn't it? So we get E here. Now, if I try to change this one, okay, see, if I try to make it instead of E, I want to make it K, then it's going to fail because var 0 of 1 is a string and string doesn't support item assignment, right? So in this case, it's going to fail. But in
Okay.
here, it's not going to fail because here we're replacing the whole string, right? And we saw that replacing whole string is possible. That is not the problem because you are replacing the whole value, right? Whether you replace string with a string or with an integer or float, whatever, that's fine. What it's
But
only
the character we can't change.
exactly, you can't edit the content in that string. Okay, so so that's why var 0 of 1 you can't edit it, right? Okay. Let's comment. So this is about indexing. Then next thing is we look at some basic operation like we did it in string. So if I print var1 here, okay, and I say var1 plus var1. Okay, so this is var1. I'm saying var1 plus var1. Okay, so you get a double list, right? Instead, if I say var1 into var3, okay, you get 3 times. Exactly same as what you do for a string. It can join to a list, you can multiply a list. Okay, so these two things as you would do with string. Then how to perform loops in a list. Okay, so here so my mouse disappears. Okay, so here I say for I in, instead of range, instead of string, I will say I in list, right? var1. So of course, when I try to print I, okay, it will print the values of var1, right? So you get 2 3 true, right? Hello 2 3 true 2 6. So it will run the number of times, number of values which are there in the var1, right? So here you can say I in this, or you can also say, if you say
So
I
here
in,
we can't take that range.
What range?
Usually in the loop center, we can take for I in a range.
Why do we use range? What do you do with range? You put a value beginning to end, right? So
Yeah.
you would do I in range, and you will say len of var1. That means you are saying range, length of var1 is what? 5. So you are saying range 5. That means you start from 0, go up to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, isn't it? So when you say len var1, it is going from 0, including 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that is range. But if I, so in this case, if I print, you won't get the value. What will you get is the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's generating this one. Okay. So one of, so it depends upon your usage. What I'm saying, you can use this way also, right? This is nothing to do with, list. This is to do with range, which we have already discussed, right? Is this something to do with list? No, there's no list here. When you say len of list, it will give you the length. That is, you're getting an integer value, isn't it? So you can use range. Of course, why can't you use range? You can reuse range, and here what you give doesn't matter. It depends upon your objective, right? If you want to run 5, you run in 5. But let's say you don't know how. Let's say you want to run number of times the list is, and you don't know the size of list. So you'll say len of list. Then it will run that many times. So when in your assignment there is something called as quick sort, merge sort. Okay, we will see how to do sorting, bubble sort, things like that. There we'll be using len of list. Okay, so we will save data in list, and then we will use len to find out how many data is there in the list. Okay, so for I in range, len of var1, you get print I. Okay, so here you get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I want the value here to be printed, okay, modify, make one change in this, the highlighted part, 5, 15, and 16, to display the content of the list. Make one change, okay, to find, or what do you call, to display the actual values of the list. So see, so var1 will give us the value from the list, right? If I put this bracket here, that means you are saying var1 of 0, var1 of 1, var1 of 2, and when you run it, you still get the value here, right? Isn't it? Did you get this?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Great. Okay. So this is about this one. Okay. So this is what I wanted to discuss, and the phase one, where you're talking about how to declare a list. Okay, how to assign values. So we have seen it can assign multiple values to a list. You can multiply. You can add to lists. Okay, just by plus you'll combine, concatenate two lists. You can go through range and print the values. Okay, so you could do all these things. Now we look at the property, just like we looked at the properties of list string. We look at the properties of list now, right? So properties of list would be like functions, right? So here, okay, so the most common function we'll talk about is called append. So var1 dot append. Append. Append is used to add values to it. So dynamically, if you want to add values, you will say var1 dot append. Okay, so var1 dot append. Okay, and if I add here say 100. Okay, and now again I say print var1. Okay, so I'm going to give a comment here, var1 after append. Okay, and let's run this. So see, 100 is added at the end. Okay, 100 is added at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so append will always add the element at the end. Okay, so if you already have a list and you want to add values to it, okay, now let's say you want to store 10 values entered by the user. Okay, you want to store and save 10 values by the user, right? So you'll have what we'll do is we'll create an empty list, okay, without any values in it, and then using append we will add values to it. Okay, so let's do that. Yeah, I'm going to say for I in range, okay, 10. Let's see what were the 10 values, and I say val equal to input enter element plus I plus 1. Okay, I'll add this plus. Okay, so enter element I plus 1. Okay, I forgot to put this bracket here. Okay, so val, we are reading the value, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create an empty list called list val, okay, equal to bracket empty list. Okay, and here I will say list val dot append. Okay, now this is end of the loop, and you want to print. Say print values enter R. Okay, and I'm going to say for I in list val. Okay, print I. Okay, so when I run it, the loop will ask me to input the values. Okay, okay, so see, I plus 1 is integer. You can't add integer to string. So I have to convert this into string. I'll say str of. Okay, now it will work fine. Okay, so it says enter the element 1. So I entered, say, 10. Yep. Now what happened? Append takes exactly one argument. If you should have told me, right? So append what? Append val 1, isn't it? So when you run it, enter element 1, I said 10, element 2, 20, element 3, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90,
100.
100, and see the values entered are it's stored in the list val. So using append, you can dynamically get the values and store and save here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next, one more option that you have here is called insert. Okay, in insert, the thing is you insert. Okay, so what I'll do is every time I run this, I have to enter values, right? So I'm going to put a comment. I'll comment this out. Okay, so I'm going to comment this, and I'll put it here so that I don't have to run it again and again. So let's say we come back here. Okay, so var1 after append, we get it. Now append by default adds at the end. Okay, so if you have 5 elements, the new element that you will append will be at the 6th position. If you say 4, it will add it at the 5th position, right? Here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use insert. I'm going to say var1 dot insert. Okay, now insert, sorry, if you look at insert, it has two options: index comma object. Okay, index is the position where you want to enter. So I can say position 2. That means the value that I'm going to insert will get added at position 2. okay, which is like 3 basically in the list, right? So I'm going to insert the value at 2. I'm going to say 999. Okay. Now, if you run the value of var1, see what happens. So this is the original var1 before we performed the insert. So hello 23 true in list and 100. Now I wanted to add 333 at position 3, right? For index 2. So when I added index 2 here, so 0 and 1 remained unchanged. At third position at index 2, you got 999. And everything else has moved by 1 space. So this is how index works. Okay, index, you will also add position along with the value that you want to insert into the list. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that's the difference between insert and append. Append will always add at the end. Insert, you define the position where you want to add.
And okay.
Okay.
So 2 comma 999 means it will insert a 999 after 2.
No, I said position 2, right? Index 2. It got added at index 2.
Okay, that is index 0, 1, 2. Okay, fine.
Correct? Yeah, and everything else has moved. Yeah. So things which will not get impacted will remain as it is, but things which gets impacted will be moved by a space.
Yeah. Got it, got it.
All right.
So if you don't know, can you please discuss your value? Sometimes it is
No, I didn't get you. Sorry, can you repeat it?
Can you please increase your volume?
Can you repeat what? Sorry.
Volume. Your sound is echo is not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it better?
Yeah, now this is better.
Okay, let me do one thing. Let me change my headset. 1 second.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So this is earphone, right? It's just hanging down. So instead, I'll use this microphone bit. Can you hear me, Vishnu?
Can you? Yes, yes. Now it's
Yeah, it should be much better. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
It's perfect. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so this is append and insert. So see, when you have append and insert, you will have something for delete as well, right? So again, we have two functions which are basically used for delete. One is called clear. Okay, so clear will remove everything. It will clear the list, as the name suggests, right? Clear. Okay, so if before I print this, I say var1 dot clear. Okay, and when you run it, you see it is empty. So clear will not delete it. Okay, so remember, delete is a function, okay, or word or keyword or command that will delete. So when you say del space var1, then the print will give error saying that var1 doesn't exist, right? But clear will keep the structure but removes the values from it, right? That's the difference. Clear. Then you have pop. Okay, so if I say, okay, var1, let me comment it out. I don't generally delete it. Okay, let me comment it out, and I say var1 dot pop. Okay, so let's run this and see what happens. Okay, so so see, this is the value which was there before pop, and this is after the pop. Do you see any difference?
It. Okay. Like it is. Okay. It will append value. It's not showing here.
No. Actually,
this should be before. Okay, so we are not printing it. Now let's look at. So after insert, I'm printing it, then pop and printing. So so I had one more command bit after this thing, right? Now you see. Before append, it was this. After pop, you get this. So pop will remove the last element.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is like the opposite of your.
But the insert is showing the same thing, well, sir. 999 is there.
999 is there because insert I put before print now. So this you get after you do append and insert. Then I'm running pop. See, look at the screen. Look at my.
Okay. Got it. Yeah.
So line number 20 is printing here. This is line number 20. Then I'm saying pop, line number 22, and then 23, it is this one. So the pop has actually removed the last element, just like append will put that last element here. Pop will remove the, okay. So we call it as last in, first out, basically. Okay. The element that you add at the last will be the first one to be removed. Okay. Now, next, after pop, okay, I'll comment this as well. We have something called as delete. Var1 dot, not delete, sorry. Yeah. 1 second. Just be back. Sorry, actually, yesterday I was working and my charger got burned. Laptop charger. Okay, and I was worried. I was thinking that I would not be able to take class, and I immediately ordered a charger on Amazon Prime. I got that charger now, and luckily my other office laptop, Dell laptop, the charger could fit in here. So I'm using Dell laptop charger for HP laptop. Luckily it worked. Otherwise we would have had to cancel the session. But luckily I got this one also, so it's good. Okay, so let's continue. Sorry, I was talking about remove, right? So pop will remove the last element. Then you have something called as remove here. Okay, so what remove does, okay, if you delete it, you will see when I say E, it is the object. Okay, you define the object that needs to be deleted. Okay, so if you want to,
sir, again your voice went low.
Is it better?
No, sir. Still.
Hello.
Yeah, now it's audible.
Okay, so okay, so here we are talking about
Remove.
Remove, and here you give the object. That means the value that you want to remove. Okay, so if I give value here, let's say 999. Okay, and now when you run it, see 999 is gone. Okay.
Element we want to remove, we can
element, yes.
Element.
Yes,
You can give element in the
correct. Now I'm
remove.
trying to remove the element which is not there.
She's not there. Okay.
Okay, so you get a error saying that X not in the list. You get error. Okay, so first you have to be sure that that element is there. Only then you can remove it. Otherwise, it will give you error. Okay. One more thing we look at pop here. Okay, I think we missed it. Is okay. POP, sorry, POP. See, it talks about index. Index is not a mandatory field. Okay, so if I don't give index, the -1 is eliminated, right? Or if I give index, okay, so I give index, let's say 2. Okay, now you run it. So 0, 1, 2, 999 is removed. If you give index as 3, right, your 3.0 is removed. So in POP, you can even define the index that needs to be removed.
Yes. Sir.
Okay, you need to uh, uh, you need to give the index if you know which index to be removed. If you don't know, okay, or you want to delete the last index, last value.
I'm a bit confused about the pop and remove, sir. Pop is also is a kind of a remove, right?
Yes, pop is also removed, but pop works on the index position.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so pop works on the position, whereas your remove works on the value, which value you want to remove. Okay, so it depends on the value that you want to remove. Right, so that's the difference.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. So this is about pop, remove, clear. So we saw 3 functions: clear, remove everything; pop, using which you can handle the position; remove, using which you can handle the value, which value you want to remove.
Yes, sir.
Then we have something called as index. Okay, index will return the position, as the name suggests. Index, it will return you the index of the input value. So if I here, if I say print index of true is, okay, and I say comma var1 dot index, okay, of true. True is boolean, right? So you just say true here. Okay, so position of true is 3. After delete, it is 0, 1, 2, 3, isn't it? So it is going to return you the index. So sometimes you might want to know the index of a value. Okay. Count will give you the number of elements with a specified value. See, if you want to know the total count, it is len, right? But I want to know how many hundreds are here. So I'll say dot count of 100.
Like repeated values. Repeated
No,
elements.
it will give you the count of a specific value. Okay, if it is not repeated, it will give you 1. Okay, so instead of where is that? Instead of index, if I give count, right, it will give me 1. That means count is present in the list one time. Okay, so if I give here true, comma true, comma true, okay, now you run it. Okay, what happened? Boolean is not subscriptable. Where did we do subscription? Okay. I mean, so see here, we are assuming based on the list, right? That's why, it is doing that, because true, int, they don't have multiple values, isn't it? So you can't do second index inside index. Now you see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 true values, right? So you get 4
Yeah.
true values here, 4. So, okay, so now if you want to find the index of something which is not there, okay, I want to try to find count of, say, false. Okay. So you get 0. So now let's say if you want to delete something, okay, you want to delete an element, okay, and if we saw that, right? If you try to delete something which is not there, it's going to give you error, right? Error means, see, we don't want error, because if you get error, your program will stop there, it will not continue. Okay, towards the end we will see how to handle errors. Okay, so error handling is also part of our course, we'll discuss later. So for now, so we know that when you get error, that means it is end of the program. You can't process, you can't progress any further, isn't it? So you don't want to get error. So before you delete, okay, it is better you check, okay, by doing index of that element. If the index of that element is not 0, that's when you will go ahead and proceed with remove. Okay. Okay, so we have reverse, which is going to reverse the element. So if in this case, if this is the element, I'll say var1 dot reverse. Okay, so what happened is, when I do var1 dot reverse, okay, so I told you, right, when we're doing functions for string, it depends upon what you are planning to do. If you are, and what function is able to do, right? So if function is returning a value, that value is printed here. So when I say var1 dot reverse, it does not return anything. Okay, so you get none. Okay, unless unlike things like count, and they return a value, they return 0, they return a list, so you got that output. Here it does not return. So what we do here is, if you want to see the output, you cut it, you of course you put it here, and now you print var1. So it doesn't return anything, it just changes the value of var1. So now you see, you get the output. So var1 is reversed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it does not return. So when we're trying to print directly in print, it's giving none, because when you're trying to print directly, we are trying to handle the return value, and we'll talk about it when we go to function. So after we finish this basic data structure, which probably it'll take a couple of days, today and tomorrow, or maybe even Tuesday, because this is a little big. We have to talk about tuple, dictionaries. Tuple is very small topic, but dictionary is again a lengthy topic. Okay, list is very lengthy, so list will take a lot of time. So a lot of things that we need to understand in the list. So in function, we'll do it immediately after data structure. We'll see what is return type. Okay, so sometimes it returns some value, sometimes it doesn't return anything, it just changes. And
Hello?
yes, losing my voice again. Hello, did you lose a voice?
Sir, your voice is breaking, sir.
Your voice is breaking.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, is it better at least now?
Now it's better, but when you're talking, sometimes completely lost your points.
Okay. So okay. I don't know why. So okay. So yeah, let me know when it breaks again. Okay. So yeah. So we were talking about uh, 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 the return type, right? So when we return
Yeah.
something, that's what gets printed, and when it doesn't return anything, it will not get printed. That's why we saw a none there. Okay, none means it is not printing. Okay. Um, okay. One more last function that we'll talk about here is called extend. Okay. Now, so just thinking what to write. So let me call, I'll redefine var1. Okay. Something var1 equal to list apple, banana, cherry. Okay. I mean, it's not wrong, but it's better to follow being consistency. So cherry. var2, I say mango, orange, apple. Okay. Now I say x equal to, okay, or var3 equal to, okay, var1 dot extend, okay, and I put var2 inside. Okay. Now, so we'll have var, okay, so var3 equal to this, and now I say var4 equal to var1 plus var2. Okay, and I'm going to print in the reverse order. So I'm going to say var4 comma var4 okay, 4 3 2 1 3 2 1. Okay, so you see this. See what happened. var1 is apple, banana, cherry, and var2 is mango, orange, pineapple. Okay, var3 is extend, var4 is add. So probably var4 you understand what it means, right? So apple, banana, cherry, okay, mango, orange, pineapple, and mango, orange, pineapple got repeated twice. Okay, why it got repeated twice is, okay, or better would be I put it after this, then you'll understand. Okay, let's run it. So this you understand. Okay, so it simply clubbed two lists together and it gave it in the it returned as a new list. Okay, so var4 is not changed to the new value. See, list 1 and list 2 doesn't change. List 1 and list 2, or variable 1 and variable 2, will have the same original value when you're performing plus. When you're so it's like this. If I say C equal to A plus B, C will store the combined value. A and B will not change, isn't it? Now in the extend, what happens is extend does not return any list. So that's why when I'm trying to print var3, it gave none. Okay, extend doesn't return any value. It is not returning any value. So that's why return value is none. So you didn't get anything. You get none there. But what happened to var2? Nothing. var2 is as it is, mango, orange, pineapple. Okay, var2 is mango. But you see var1. var1 is banana, apple, banana, cherry. But extend, what will do is, it is like you are writing this as A equal to A plus B. Okay, so this plus is equal to like doing sum equal to A plus B. Okay, extend is like A equal to A plus B. You got it? What I'm trying to say. So here A value is changed. B will remain as it is. When you say A dot extend B, A will have a new value now. Okay, so A will be old A plus B, old B. Old B and new B will be same. A new is A plus B. So it is like A value is getting changed. So it's like doing A equal to A plus B. Simply plus is like a plus b. So you know, you say sum equal to a plus b, you get sum as a plus b. A and b doesn't change, but when you do extend, a gets changed.
Okay, like a plus b.
Yes, a equal to a plus b. Okay. So
Yes.
these are you know, the some functions of list. Again, as you go to top, you can actually see few more stuff, but these are the things that we use. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the where one apple, banana, cherry, where two mango, orange, pineapple, and where four printing we are giving. So where one plus two, where three is extended.
Okay.
Where one. So can you come down? So I'm not understanding for the last print. So, and
Which
where
last?
one is 43 and 45.
43. See, 43, there's nothing called var 3 because it is not returning anything. Right? We are saying sum equal to a equal to a plus b. So a is changed. Sum will not have any value. So that's why sum is blank. Var 3 is blank.
Okay.
Okay. Next, which one? You see?
Fine. That is fine. And where 45 is the right print where one.
Oh, var 1. So var 1 got changed, right? A equal to a plus b. So var 1 is now updated value.
That where we can do that where one equal to where one plus 32.
Extend line number
Oh,
41.
41. Okay, that is equal to a plus b. Fine, fine, got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So now, do you want to continue or do you want to end here today?
Yeah, okay, sir, that's fine.
We'll continue.
Yeah.
So this, okay, so there's some other additional usage of list that we will see. Okay, we'll take break for 10 minutes. Okay, I'll just go have some water. 11:30, 11:40 we will meet. Okay.
Yes, sir. Can I leave?
You can stay, no problem. You can stay or you can log off. I'll just go on mute and I'll be back in 10 minutes. Okay.
Ah.
You there, Vishnu? Vishnu?
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, sir.
Yes, we'll start.
Yes, sir. We'll start.
Okay. So, what we'll do is we will move to the next topic, which is tuples. Okay. There's one concept which is pending. Okay. I mean, there are three concepts, but you know, we study all the three together. It's called map, filter, and reduce. Okay. So map, filter, and reduce. There are three concepts, which is based on function as well as, sorry. Sorry, can you hear me okay? Hello. Vishnu.
Hello.
Yeah, Vishnu.
Yeah, now I'm audible.
Okay, okay. So I'm saying that, you know, there are three concepts that are left in list. Okay. That is called map, filter, and reduce. Okay. So map, filter, reduce concepts are based on functions. Okay. So we will see function first, and then we'll come back and look at map, filter, reduce again.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why. So we will hold on to that topic for some time. Let's move to the next data structure called tuples. Okay, I'm going to delete each of these. Okay, so tuple is very much like list. Okay, and like I'm telling very much in the beginning, but when you start seeing that, you'll see that it is really not list. It is really not like list. Okay, so let's see an example. So in list, we would say list one equal to square bracket, right? And that's how you create a structure of list with.
Yeah.
In tuple, we call it as, we declare it as simple bracket,
Current. Possible bracket.
right? Simple bracket. Okay. So now, have we used simple bracket so far? Did we use simple bracket so far?
Yes, yes, sir.
For functions, calling functions, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Tuples too. Tuples like to declare, we use simple bracket. Okay, so we use simple bracket to declare tuple, and you can declare empty tuple. Only difference is when you're declaring two or single values in tuple. Okay, we don't say one. Okay, then it doesn't understand the difference. So okay, so if I say print type of tup1, okay, so it is integer. It is treating as like a function which is taking one value integer. Okay, so one, if you give 0, it is fine. Okay, when you give 1, 2, two values also, it's fine. It knows it's tuple. Only problem is when you enter one value. And if you want to declare tuple with one value, you say 1, comma. So comma you give only when there's one value to be passed to the tuple. Okay, so when I run this now, it is tuple. Okay, so 0 value you can assign, no problem. 2 and onwards, no problem. Only for one value we have to say comma here. Okay, So it is like list because it can store multiple values of different types. Difference between tuple and list is that tuple is immutable, cannot be modified. So once you define a tuple, that is it. Okay, you can't add, you can't delete. So all the functions that we have discussed in list doesn't hold true for tuple. Okay, once you declare tuple, you can only count the elements. You can only do the reading part. Okay, like counting how many elements are there, what is the element at the first position. All the editing part. Editing part means writing, updating, deleting. Those three options are not available for tuple. So tuple is a list which is which is made immutable. Okay, so see, the advantage of being making it immutable is that the accessing, the reading becomes fast, right?
Okay.
So it's like difference between a book and a notebook. So list is like a notebook. Okay, bad example, but you can understand it what I'm trying to say. List is like a notebook where you can read the content of notebook and also can write in it into it. But tuple is like a book. You can only read. You can't write into
Not
it.
fair. We can change.
Yes, you can't change, you can't edit. Okay, so tuple is like book and a list is like notebook. And what happens is when you have uh, textbook, it is much faster to read in textbook because you know which chapter, which page number has what content. You can look at TOC and you can refer to that page. So in reading from textbook is faster generally than reading to notebook, because notebook you can write anything anywhere, right? So it is very difficult to create a TOC and search for a notebook, isn't it? So when you are performing a lot of reading options, it is preferred to use tuple. And when you are performing write option, it is preferred to use list. Okay, that's one point. Second point is list and tuple are interchangeable. They can be easily converted into one form to another. I can convert list to tuple without any problem, and list to tuple or tuple to list without any problem. So when you're trying to read something, okay, it is better that you convert into tuple, okay, and you perform your read. So generally, in real world applications, people create a tuple, okay, and when you're adding a value to tuple, you convert into list, add the value, and again convert it back to tuple. So by mistake also, you will not be.
So your voice is
Yeah, there's a lot of air, wind blowing. That's why I think there's a this thing. Uh, okay, let me try again. So, so when in
no,
application,
it's fine.
thanks. In general application, what happens is people generally declare a tuple, okay, use it like a tuple everywhere. Whenever they want to make some edit, let's say I want to remove a value from tuple, then you convert the tuple to list, remove it, and convert it back. For example, okay, so I have a list here, and in this list, let me add values like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, now I want to okay, okay, so let's say I want to convert this into tuple. So tuple1 equal to tuple, tuple of list 1. Okay, so tuple became tuple now. Okay, so when you know it, if you run it, it is type tuple, and when you print it, okay, uh, tuple1, you get the exact same value. Okay, so see, difference is here you have simple bracket. Okay, so this is your tuple1 and this is your list 1. So list 1 value we added to tuple. Now when you do tup.1, okay, see, you only see count and index. Count will tell you how many element of x is there. Index will give you the index of the x, right? Exactly same two functions that we had in the list reading function. Okay, everything else that we saw was the writing function: extend, insert, update, append, pop, remove, right? So count will tell you how many elements are there. So if I say count 4, it will tell us, okay, how many 4 is there in this list. So if I make it as, okay, so we'll do it later. So here you see it is 4 is one time. Now if I want to add a value to tuple, so what did I say? What do we do? So we
You need
say,
a converted list.
yes, so tup1 equal to list is the function, list of tup1. So I'm converting tup1 into list by saying list of tup1. Now tup1 will have all the functions that a list has generally, count, extend, reverse, pop, append. So I say append, I give 4 here. Now again I'll convert it back into tuple. I'll say tup1
Tuple equal to
tuple of,
tuple
yes,
of
okay,
list one.
tuple of tup1, not list 1. We are managing tup1 only, right? So now when you run it, you will see the value goes to 2. Okay, so this is what, there's nothing much to do. And there, so tuple has a lot of usage. As we go further, right, we'll see how tup is used. But as of now, you know that if you have to store more than one value together, it is to be used as a list. And if, to make sure that you don't end up deleting the values by mistake, what we do is we convert into tuple. Okay, so I was saying that right, immutable, right? So when I say tup1, okay, the moment, see, you don't even have append, you can't use any function. But even if you want to say tup1, okay, so before I forget, indexing of tuple1 is same indexing as you do with list or string. Okay, so absolutely no problem. If I want to find first element from tuple, I'll say tup1 of 0. Okay, like if I want first or if I want position like 2 4 or not 2 4, let's say 4 6 8 if I want, right? So I'll use 1 colon 4, right? So this is our 1 2 3, right? So 1 colon 4. Why is this giving error? Let's print. No, so what did I do? So indexing is always square bracket. Oh, wondering why it's giving red line, right? Indexing is always square bracket, right? So when you run it, okay, so you get 2 4 6 8. I mean 4 6 8. So indexing is exactly the way you do it in string or you do it in list. Okay, indexing is absolutely no problem. Okay, so that's why we are not getting into it. We have seen it in string, we have seen it in list also, right? So okay, so this is how you do indexing. So immutable, just like string, if I try to say tup1 of 1, which is 4 here, to let's say 40, right? It will throw error. Okay, does not support. So same like string, right? String does not support item assignment. You get tuple does not support tuple assignment or item assignment. Okay, so it is immutable, just like list, not just like list, sorry, just like string. Okay, but list we have seen it is mutable. So that's why when you want to use mutability property, convert into list, perform the mutation, and then you can convert it back into tuple. It becomes safe. By mistake also, you won't be, by mistake you won't be able to change the value of tuple. Okay, that's how it is used. Apart from that, you can use it for um, you can use it for what do you call for loop also. Okay, so for I in tup1, then the I will take value 2 4 6 8 10 and 4, right? I think 4 also we are adding towards the end. Okay, so you can use tuple also for loop. Yeah, so that's it. So there's not much to learn, but it is powerful. Okay, it is very powerful. You can okay, so there's one more concept which I wanted to discuss in function, but let's discuss here, and we'll also discuss that in function. It's called unboxing and boxing. Okay, so when I declare, okay, so let's declare a tup2. So I say tup2 equal to simple bracket, and I say apple banana, cherry. Okay, apple, banana, cherry. So this is called, basically they are assigning it, also called as boxing, in the sense you are not boxing mouse, packing, unpacking. Okay, so it's like you're packing. So when you pack a suitcase, right, you put a lot of things together. So here it's a variable and I'm putting a lot of things together. I'm putting three values in one box or in one suitcase, which we call it as tup2, right? So this is called yeah, assigning a value, or you can do, you're calling as packing. Unpacking means if you want to remove it and store in three different variables. So I can call it as s1 comma s2 comma s3 equal to tup2. Okay, now you can print s3. So if you want to convert it back into three different variables, you can do this. Okay, but here you have to remember is, if you have three values, okay, if you have three variables, okay, sorry, what I meant to say is, if you have three values here in the tuple, apple, banana, and cherry, you need to have three variables. Okay, I cannot say s1 comma s2. Okay, so if I try to run s1 comma s2 equal to tup2, you will get too many values to unpack. So it's like this: your suitcase has three dresses, but in your cupboard you only have two shelves, two places to put the book, right? So you have too many items, you have too many cloths, or items you have to unpack, right? You don't have sufficient space to unpack from suitcase, so you can't unpack. Okay, if I add s3 and s4, so you'll get too few values to unpack. Okay, not enough values to unpack, not too few, not enough values to unpack. So you have four spaces, you only have three dresses to put, you can't put them. So number of variables that you use for unpacking has to be same as the values in the tuple. Okay, so these are function, sorry, these are the properties of tuple. So we'll stop here today. Okay, please go through the practice examples which I have given in the document. Practice that, and tomorrow we'll look at another important topic called as dictionary. Okay, we'll dictionary is another important topic. We'll look into dictionary, and then another set. Okay, set also will do it probably.
List comprehension.
Sorry,
List comprehension.
no, I didn't get you. Sorry, your voice is low.
No, dictionary sets and
Yes, dictionary and sets.
comprehensions are pending, right?
Yeah, yeah. So with that, we'll finish our data structure. We'll move to functions. Okay. Okay, then we'll end it here if there are no questions. Tuple, as I said, right, very few things to talk about, but it is very powerful. We'll see when we start using functions and other things, you'll see how powerful the tuple is. But tuple and list are interchangeable. You can any day you can convert it to tuple, tuple to list. Okay. If you want all those properties to be added to tuple, you convert it to list. Use whichever property you want to use, and then reconvert back into tuple. Yeah. Okay, so we'll end it here for today, Vishnu. We'll see you tomorrow in the evening, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Take care. Bye.